Hi everyone, it's Nicole and I have another layout using the July Valley High Studio Calico kit, and I had 4 add-ons. I'm just showing you some of the stuff I may be using. Most of the stuff is from this month's kit, and I had took out a few Copic markers and some of the stamps that came in this month's kit, and also I took out one template that was from my stash, and then I had pulled out a whole bunch of stuff that was from my stash, but I put it in a container so that I could use it with the kit, so I don't have to go through all my whole room to try to find some things to use. And I have 2 Studio Calico papers that I want to use on this layout. Now I'm going to use that template, which is basically like chevrons, and I'm going to use pale tomato ink to ink up the chevrons. And these pictures are of my daughter at a competition in Niagara Falls, and in between the competitions we walked near the falls and they were doing some stunts and near the falls, and we were taking pictures with the falls in the background. And my daughter is a flyer, which means that she's the one that they put on on the top and is flying around. And so I'm going to put that template in 3 different areas on the layout. And I've done a few layouts of our trip to Niagara Falls, but a lot of them were from actually the attractions that we did while we were there. And now I'm going to start doing a little bit more of the competition, but this is still kind of attraction, but they were doing some stunts, and it was really funny because you had regular tourists that were there, and there was like over 10,000 cheerleaders in Niagara Falls. Anyway, they were stopping and kind of going inside the frame of the pictures and kind of getting their loved ones to take pictures so that they were sort of in the frame of the picture. So we kind of had to go around tourists to take pictures of our girls, whether it was team pictures or stunts. So it was really, really funny. And now I thought maybe at first I was going to use that teal paper to mat my photos, and then I decided I didn't want to introduce another color. I just want to keep it in the pink. So I'm taking one of the Stampin' Up! Coordinations paper, and it is the In Colors, and the pink is just a little bit off, but where it is Coordinations paper, you can sand it. So first what I'm going to do is just figure out the size that I want the mat to be. So I'm going to cut it, around it. Then I'm going to pull the photos off again. And then I'm going to use my distressing tool from Prima, and I'm going to distress the edges. And what it's doing, it's a lighter pink that's on the inside. So by the time I'm done distressing it, it's more the color of pink that's in the rest of the pattern papers. So and the ink that I use, so that it coordinates a little bit better. I'm going to try a few different sanding blocks that I have, but the one that I found that worked the best was the Prima tool. And if you put your paper down, it works a little better and almost too good, because then it was taking a lot of the color off. So I ended up just picking up the cardstock again and just kind of taking my time. It just takes a little bit longer, but I just like the effect a little bit better than too much taken off. So once, like I said, once it's been sanded down, then the color is way more, coordinates better with the layout. Now I'm going to decide how big I want that pattern paper. And that's probably one of my favorite pattern papers, the one with the arrow heads, I guess, or triangles, and all the colors that are on it. I really love it. And I also like that other Studio Calico paper, and it's just sort of, I don't know, it almost looks like little sticks just kind of piled up one on top of the other. And then I'm going to use some journaling paper, and that's where I'm going to do my journaling, to the left side of the page. I thought about adding some of that black pattern paper, but I decided against it. And then this was one of the chipboard pieces that I took from my own stash, and I want to use it. It's from the Hey Boy collection. And I'm going to use some of the circles to do some of the embellishments. I'm going to frame it around it. And then I'm going to take out some of the banners that came in that cardstock kit too. So I'm just looking at the back to kind of see what else is there, to see what I could pull from, the different elements, and see what I'm going to use on this page. So I'm going to use 2 of those circles. One of them I'm going to cut, actually both of them, I'm going to cut in half and use it on the page. Now I'm looking at some of the My Mind's Eye label stickers, and I'm going to use some of those on the page too. So I'm just looking to see at some of them that coordinate with the page. And then I'm also going to look at some of the stickers that came in this month's kit. And one of them says, "You go girl," and it's like an arrow. And then there was some arrowheads right behind it. So I'm using my EK Success powder tool, and I got that at Simon Says. And I'm just putting it at the top of my layout because I don't want to lose it. So basically what I do is I go through all the stuff that I either was from the kit or from my stash, and I decide, I pull everything that coordinates with the page, and you can tell it's just in the middle of the layout, like literally just on top of the photos. I don't know where my clusters are going to be, except for where I have that heart where it says sigh. That's the only one that I know there's going to be a cluster there, but the heart is not even going to be there. I'm going to move the heart. So I'm going to keep going through the chipboard and the My Mind's Eye stickers and try to see what else I want to use. And then at some point I just decide, I've kind of had enough for the day or the night or whatever, or that session, and I just kind of walk away. And a lot of times I'll do it, in between a day and the next day's shift. So I only have like half an hour, 20 minutes or so. And I just kind of put it away and come back the next day. And now I'm going to put some glue on some of these pattern papers. And what I like to do is put it on top of the pattern paper instead of underneath. So that way, if I want to stick anything else underneath, I don't have to worry about glue being, stuck, and I can't lift the rest of the layers and kind of lift them up. So I'm going to use one of those circles, chipboard circles, and I'm going to cut it in half. And one of those labels says, "There's nothing better than this." And there's an exact matching label from Ellie's Studio, and the other one is just the exact same color, but it has no writing on it. So it's perfect to coordinate elements on your page. So you can put one with saying and the other one just so you have something of the same color in a different embellishment cluster. And so I'm just kind of starting to kind of fool around where the clusters are going to be. And I was going to put the flags on the right side of the page, but then because I had put some of, the template with some ink, then the flags weren't going to show up. So that's why I decided to put it on the left side. And then I put the second part of the circle to the right side, and then one of the chipboard just says, keeping it real. And then I know I want to use that chipboard circle to the top left of the page. And it's going to kind of go over the flags a little bit, but I just want to kind of frame the embellishments just for something different. And now I know that I want to put those stickers that says, you go girl, at the top of my journaling spot. And then I want to use some of the stamps that came in this month's kit, and I'm going to make little embellishments with them. One of them is a camera with a heart. the other one says love, and the other one is a star. And to me, you know, my daughter's a star. So that was the reasoning behind, you know, some of the elements that I picked out to put on the page. So I'm going to stamp them on the extra grid paper that I had used, you know, for the page. And I'm going to stamp them out, and then I'm going to take a 7/8 circle punch, and I'm going to punch them out. And then I'm going to use them at the bottom of my journaling block. So this layout is a second layout using the Studio Calico July kit, and I am loving this kit. I'm so excited. I just wish I had a little bit more time. I just started my rotation. Actually, I just finished my 3rd day, and I have 2 more night shifts. But I thought you know, this page has been done for like 3 or 4 days. I just haven't had a chance to do the voiceover and upload it to, you know, iMovie and all this stuff. So I have a 3rd layout just about done. I'm hoping to be able to get it done tonight and upload it in 2 or 3 days. And but I'm really excited about all the, you know, the papers and everything. So I can't wait to, you know, dive into it and get it done. Now I decided on a color of Copic, and I'm coloring some of the rhinestone that we got in this month's kit, and I'm coloring 9 of them. 3 small ones, 3 medium ones, and 3 of the larger ones, I guess. And now I'm choosing a little potty girl that I want to put on the page while I'm letting those rhinestones dry up. And then I also chose 3 buttons that I picked out from this month's kit, and I'm going to use that on the page. And now I'm ready to start gluing everything down. So, and I decided I was going to use one of a washi tape that was from my stash. I mean, there's only so many that I could put with the kit because the container was pretty full. So this one here is just a striped washi tape, and it just coordinates with the page perfectly. So now I'm going to put some of that foam tape in behind that tab, I guess, that says there's nothing better than this. And I'm going to create a little cluster right there using that chipboard circle, the chipboard flowers that came in the Hey Boy Basic Gray that I had pulled to, you know, use up with this kit. And then I'm going to start working on the top cluster, and there's a few chipboard pieces in that too. And I'm pretty sure that didn't come in this month's kit. I'm pretty sure that was a chipboard package that I just decided to use. I mean, I just started this kit, and already I'm forgetting what came in this month's kit and what came from my stash. But I'm pretty sure it came from my stash. I just wanted, you know, extra stuff. I just found it coordinated with the papers really well. Now, one of the tags that I had cut out from Ellie's Studio that matched the one that was on the bottom cluster, I cut it at the tip so that it looked like a flag, and it's going to be my 3rd flag. And what I did is I put some foam tape in behind so that it lifted it so it looked more like the other 2. I'm going to put the heart that says sigh on that cluster. And at that point, I didn't know if I want to put those little circles that I had stamped in each cluster or with my journaling. And I'm going to end up choosing with my journaling. And now I'm going to add some washi tape at the bottom right cluster because I had forgot to put it on. And then I'm going to put washi tape at the bottom of my journaling because I found, because I stamped those circle elements on that grid paper, it was getting lost. So by putting washi tape in behind, then they stood out a little bit more. And to make them stand out a little bit more, I put more foam tape in behind. And now I'm going to glue down those stickers that I had pulled out. And then I found that those little rhinestones weren't popping out enough. So I added another coat of Copics on those rhinestones. And I'm going to put some foam tape in behind that chipboard piece that says Keeping It Real. So this page has a lot of dimensions, dimension going on and a lot of layers. So my glue was stuck again, and so I unclogged it with a little needle. And I'm going to put a glue dot in behind that button, and I'm going to glue it down to that chipboard circle. And now I'm going to glue that button. At first I think I'm going to put it on top of the heart, and then I decide to put on the flag. And that chipboard circle was sticking out a little bit, so I cut it down. And the third button, I'm going to put it on top of that flower cluster. And I looked to see if I could use that heart. I really wanted to use it, but I didn't really have a spot for it anymore. Only because there was that heart that I put at the top of the page. So I kind of wanted to bring more heart elements, which I'm going to, but they're just going to be a little bit more subtle. Now I'm going to cut some twine, and I'm going to put it at every cluster, because I don't find that any page is complete for me until I add a little bit of twine. So I'm going to use some glue, and for that one there I'm going to use a glue dot only because I want to glue it on the circle, and I didn't figure that my wet glue was going to dry well enough on top of that chipboard, for it to dry and stay. So that one there, this is the one I'm going to put a glue dot. So at this point, I haven't even thought of where my title is going to be, which is really odd for me because usually I like to, work on the title way before this. And in one of the stamps that the year came as one of the stamps, so right next to that You Go Girl, I just put the year 2013. And now those rhinestones are dry, so I'm going to put 3 around each cluster. So I'm going to put a small one, a medium one, and a large one around each cluster. And I found a lot of times I have a lot of embellishments left at the end of the month, so I'm trying to use as much as I can on each layer. And this is where I know I want to add a little heart at each of the remaining clusters. So I punched a teeny weeny heart with my EK Success, I think it's called Plenty of Hearts, and I put it in the center of that little wood veneer girl. And then I took another one of the heart, and I'm just going to put it by that flower cluster. So that's where the 3 hearts are going to balance off. And now I even go as far as using my Mr. Huey ink, and I'm going to put some splatters in the 3 clusters with Mr. Huey and also a glimmer glaze, because the glimmer glaze, it does give a little shine, so I do like it. So I use 2 different tones of pink. And now I decide, okay, I'm going to work on my title. I looked at the brads, but I decided against it. I decided to use my buttons instead. So now I know I want to use pink lettering. So I'm going to use that October Afternoon, and they are called Sherbert. And then I'm going to use that font that we got in last month's kit, and it coordinates with this page really well. I wanted to do heart in uppercase and lowercase, but there was no R's left, so I'm going to put the rest of the letters. I was trying to figure out if there was another letter that I could cut and kind of jimmy, my own R, but it was going to look too funny. So I could do it with the uppercases, so I decided to use the uppercase instead. And the colors that we got in this month's kit was blue, and I believe there was a gray, and I wanted to keep it in the pink, so that's why I decided to use last month's letters. And I'm going to put the title at the top, sort of in between the two clusters. Right there. And I'm going to put it so that it touches basically the cardstock for that, I was going to say frames the photos, but it's mats the photos. So the title is Be Still My Heart, because where she is the one that they toss around, my heart just literally goes in my throat every time, because I'm so afraid they're going to drop her. I mean, it's happened before, and they're tossing my baby 6 or 7 feet up in the air, and then they catch her, hopefully. So the journaling is just that. I just say, that I'm so proud that everything she does, she just pushes herself to the limit. And they had a coach come from Toronto to do their routine, and the coach is international coach for Toronto, and she was trying to convince her to move to Toronto and be on her team. So she really does well, and she's always seems to be the center flyer, and so the one that is the center of attention. So I'm really proud of her, but it really scares the dickens out of me. So if you want to see more close-ups, you can go to 2 Peas in a Bucket, Studio Calico, and Pinterest. And I have the link for Pinterest in the About tab on my channel. Or you can join me on Facebook, and the link is in the description. And for Studio Calico and 2 Peas in a Bucket, you just search for Nicole Jones 911. So that's it. The page is done. So thanks for watching. Bye.